Welcome to Wild, Women in Lending Determined to Make an Impact. I'm your host, Robyn LaVassaur. They say our biggest fear isn't being inadequate, it's being powerful beyond measure. In this podcast, I will share how to break through imaginary ceilings, lean into success, discovering your purpose, and understanding how to create the business and life of your dreams. From failures to triumphs and all the tactics in between, let's jump into the wild arena together. Welcome back to Wild with Robyn LaVassaur. Today's episode, we are going to talk about eventful growth. That's just a play on words. The truth is, we are going to talk about building events. And there's a lot of people that have a lot of trepidation, fear, if you will, around hosting events, having events. I think for all of us, right, there's a level of vulnerability, if you will, to host an actual event, especially one that you are speaking at, if you will. I'll say out loud, if you're not naturally a speaker, if you are somebody who doesn't want to speak in public, you can still host events. And I think that we get hung up sometimes that, hey, I'm going to invite people into a mastermind, or I heard somebody did a lunch and learn or a link and drink and did something that cultivated a group of people. Now, what I constitute really as an event is essentially double-digit invites. You can have a gathering, if you will, with anywhere from 1 to 5 people, maybe all the way up to about 10 people in a room. And that's not that that's not an event, but when you think of a true event, it is major leverage where people see you as highly active, highly visible, and likely doing something for them that will add value. Remember that definition of value: time, joy, money. It's going to give them one or a combination of the three at any given time. And so why would you have an event for your business? Well, I'll tell you what, one of the smartest things that I ever learned in business in general was to leverage the use of my time. And so no different than potentially doing a post on social media, and maybe that post took you 5 minutes to write, but ultimately hundreds of people saw it. Think of how long it would take you to tell that same story, that same clip, give that amount of information, update people on your life, if you will, if you had to individually do that with hundreds of people. An event is no different than that, right? It's a group of people that you can leverage all at once. Now, here's where the downside to an event is, and I think that people can sometimes get too event crazy to try to build their business. And so I want to talk about the negatives real quick, and then we're going to get into the how-tos and the positive pieces to events and why you should have them in your business no matter what. And so events, the negative side, huge groups. Have you ever sat and literally everything that you've ever done with people is in just massive groups, and you never feel, while it's fun, while you might have enjoyed yourself, you never got to have anything other than likely a surface level conversation or a quick hello or a good to see you. But people tend to get lost in the room. They might enjoy the venue. I posted events from doing a movie theater day to doing a pumpkin patch, pictures with Santa, pick up your pie for Thanksgiving. There's so many events, masterminds, teaching on time management, all sorts of things. I could name countless over the years that I've had, some with what I would deem as greater success than others. But at the end of the day, to say that I had in-depth, true contact and connection with somebody, that's not the case with an event. It's about a leverage time for at least you to get a couple face-to-faces that maybe were a little more intimate, but overall, it's seeing people enjoy and remember and hand out your name. I love the movie theater event because they'll bring people. You can do past clients, you can do referral partners. Everybody comes to the movie, and there's lots of gratitude and ultimately notoriety is what I will call it in your business from doing those invites, especially when they are consistent. But much different than doing maybe a 5-person mastermind where you spend a couple hours working on a business. That's less of an event. It's definitely a more intimate gathering that you can do deeper connections. So the bad side is probably not having a lot of depth to that. The great side of an event is massive leverage in your business and with your time and with your calendar. So how frequently should you be having events? What I would tell you is that no less than 1 per quarter for large scale events, no less than 1 per quarter. Now, again, I think we think large scale event, that must mean that it costs a lot of money.
No, I wouldn't say that they always cost a lot of money. You could do a movie theater, skating rink. You could do a lot of different things for a lot less money than you probably give it credit for when you think about the amount of people that can come into it versus the time and energy and effort that you have to put in, because those are very set it and forget it. When you're doing a smaller event like a lunch and learn or some sort of mastermind, I would say the more frequent the better, meaning at least once a month. But those are much different than large scale events. Client appreciation for sure should be at least once a year. I'm a large fan of at least twice a year. And then referral partner events at least once a quarter at a minimum. So 3 times, 4 times a year in that space. You can do those smaller events in between. So let me get into what I've learned in lessons over the years. So one of the things that we really enjoyed are the holidays in general, and then having karaoke. Now that seems a little weird to have an event, but we started doing a karaoke, ugly sweater, Christmas party, adults only, invited both referral partners and clients. There's a huge win there. And I want you to think about this for a minute. Because clients can come with the referral partner, it's a double dip, right? It's a 2x because they might join up, and that referral partner might not ever see those clients, but they see them every year at your event. So there was huge wins to doing something one consistently. So first annual, second annual, third annual, that again builds trust. The person that missed it the one year but wanted to come the next year, man, they get on board to come. The people that have been coming every year continue to come and start to look forward to it. And there are mnemonics that come with it. I talk about a lot of mnemonics. So one of the places that we had our annual sweater karaoke holiday party was literally at a place called Sam's. I to this day get messages from people that say, "Hey, I'm at Sam's, always makes me think of you." Why is that? Because we hosted that party every single year at Sam's. So really big wins there. Where did I go wrong with the events? So I want to talk about a couple steps when it comes to events. One of the things that we did was we relied too heavily on the CRM and less heavily on ourselves galvanizing the event, meaning that it's very easy to send something out on a CRM that says you're invited. Everybody's gotten the, what's it called, an evite, if you will, and it can get lost in the shuffle very easily. People might have already unsubscribed to you, if they will, simply for the fact that they just don't like a bunch of email versus they don't like you. And so if they are no longer part of your CRM or they've unsubscribed, they're likely not getting the invite. In addition to that, out of sight, out of mind. They might have glanced at it for a minute and then kept going. And all of a sudden, the event's a month away. They didn't potentially put it on their calendar. There isn't a hold, if you will, in their space for them to come. And so I spent years using CRM and a little bit of word of mouth if I was face to face with people, but I didn't take the invite to another level. And so, how committed? Why did weddings start doing save the dates? Well, they started doing save the dates to get on people's calendars sooner, to put themselves on the radar sooner, to make sure that people knew, hey, this is coming and we'd love for you to make space for it. Save the dates are a great idea when you're doing a large event. So client appreciation, save the date, right? Huge, huge, huge win. In addition to that, it always gives you a reason to call. Now, I would use subscription services like a Slide Dial. There's other services that you can do a voicemail on and send it out in mass quantities where, hey, you're saying, I want you to save the date, put this on your calendar. You should also see it in your email if you want to reference details. Double, triple dinging, maybe a text message reminder. I have a loan officer right now and CRMs have come so far, but man, I get a text message from him. I get something in the mail from him. I get something on email from him. And then I literally get a voice drop at least twice, all before any event that he's having. Now, he's all the way across the country in Tennessee, and it makes me want to get on a plane and go attend one of the events because that's how much enthusiasm and influence he has during those invites. It makes me want to be part of it. I lost that, excuse me, I never started it, I should say, in business for many, many, many years, relied heavily on CRM, did a little bit of touches, but not nearly enough. And so where our events went from done to fantastic, Man, that scale is really in the overall planning process and the execution of the event. And so, quick side note in business, an event is always about the invite, not the attendance. I struggle with that. I really wanted the attendance and worried less about the invite. Because I was so focused on the end result, I was not following a great process to create the end result. And it's no different than if you've listened to other podcasts of mine, you've heard me say start at the beginning and focus on the beginning through the process to get the end result. The end result is almost automatic if you follow a great process up front. And so I got super hyper focused on how many were attending, and I didn't do a great job on how the invites ultimately came across. I'm going to tell you a story because I think it's so powerful. So every single year, we would have tons of people attend our Christmas party. And it would be so fun. And we would sing karaoke and do ugly sweaters and have prizes and contests. And it was always and still a night to remember. And every year we would get one or two phone calls, leads, interactions, closings from that event, which if you're thinking from a business standpoint, that the event more than paid for itself, right? And mortgage, that event is paying for itself if you can get a couple closed transactions. Now, is that the point of the event? Well, yes, of course it's to drive business, but I masked my events as if they weren't. And both can be true. Think about that statement and how applicable it is in general. Both can be true. It can be about business, receiving referrals, and yes, closing deals because of the event. And it also, it's an and, not an or, can be about connecting with clients, having great client retention, taking care of your past clients, your referral sources, and honoring them by doing something nice and fun for them, paying for some things, not because of referrals, RESPA guidelines, right? But because you are grateful to have them in your life. I love that piece to it. Both can be true, and I made the mistake of simply trying to do the latter, meaning that is all I was. I want to show gratitude. I want to get everybody together. I want to spend time, but I lost the business aspect to an event, and that was a huge miss. And so when I learned the lesson, I'll tell you a quick story. I had a realtor of mine, and we were taught in the same coaching company. And that coaching company literally showed us verbatim. In fact, it put an example on at all the events they hosted that we went to on how to essentially not only do an event, but do an event with both the time and the outcome of money, right? So a combination of both. I didn't realize that I was struggling with it. Well, I've been in the program for years and years and years. I didn't listen as well or implement as well as the realtor. So he comes in and decides to do an event. And I'm not joking when I say that he not only used the CRM, but he sent things in the mail. He did the text, he did the voicemail. He personally, this is super key, called and said, I want you to be there. Now, his team was also making calls, but he personally called people that said, I want you to be there. And by the way, I have a gratitude gift for you, and I would love for you to come. Where's the key to that? Well, think about that in terms of attendance and people wanting to come. Wait a minute, you have a gratitude gift for me? People like gifts. You see in the newspaper, I think almost every newspaper across the country these days probably has some sort of award, right? They do best nail salon in town, best mortgage company, best restaurant, best this, best that. Why? Is it because they truly want to celebrate those businesses? No, it's because people like to be recognized. And if they're getting recognized in that newspaper, they're more likely to subscribe. Little marketing play in business, right? I constantly was separating things and keeping it more of the buddy sale type of event. And so I watched this realtor literally verbatim follow all the rules on the invite, get the attendance, have the people show up, have the groundwork laid in exactly what the event looked like. This happened to be an event with pizza. So tons of pizza on the tables. So it was fast and easy. There were no lines. The pizza was already there and ordered. You could just go grab a slice. He was introducing and networking the entire time. So he himself was very present at the event. Sure enough, there was a gift table with all the gifts there. He called people up by name, spoke highly of them, and then handed them their gift. Took pictures with every single one of them before they left. So something to remember after the event, meaning that he could send the picture out to everybody and say, hey, thanks for coming. Really enjoyed seeing you. And the ultimate gifts were you trusted me. You trusted me with friends, family, and different people. And I just want to show a gift of gratitude for the trust that you enlisted in me to be their realtor. And I would love to do more of that in the following year. Well, I'll tell you what, he came home from that event. The most powerful piece was he came home from that very first event, and I want to say that he had somewhere around 56 referrals in his hand, 56 warm leads in his hand from a 2-hour pizza party. And I'll never forget him calling, and I think he ended up with 13 closed transactions from one Wednesday night pizza party. And here I've been hosting events for years and years and years and years, and literally maybe gotten 1 or 2 leads that turned into 1 or 2 closings. And not that that is a bad thing, that I wasn't grateful for it, but let's be honest, when you are leveraging an event, how do we have eventful growth? I would tell you to follow the process. So you always want to honor people that are there and essentially reward behavior that you're hoping everyone else will want to be part of. Reward the behavior you're hoping everybody else will want to be part of. So if you're rewarding the behavior of, hey, I'm so grateful that you are giving my name out and that you've become a trusted referral source for me, man, if you're honoring that with a gift when you're putting it on display, then people say, hey, I could refer my friends and family to you, right? I could bring, not for the gift, but because you are the realtor, but because of the great realtor that you are and the gratitude, right? If that was lending, hey, the great lender that you are and the gratitude that you show to people that refer you business. There's a huge win there. And so he intentionally asked for, I'd love to see more referrals. Do you have anybody right now that could use my services next year? This event was in November. He said, I need to build my next year's buyers and sellers list. Do you have anybody that needs a realtor next year? And if so, are you willing to give me their name? And then I will contact you before I contact them so that I can reach out. That's how we ended up with 56 referrals. I can tell you every event I've ever done, from skating rinks to movie theaters to at Easter egg hunts, you name it, even with 100 people or 30 people, it doesn't matter. 1 or 2 referrals. And the biggest key was I simply wasn't asking or making it an intention of the event for fear of coming across salesy versus love of coming across as wanting to serve more people just like them. And so do yourself a favor and make sure at every event you have a way that you are going to capture future business, that you are going to ask for referrals, you are going to ask for leads, and be okay with sitting there for a minute while people think and then give you names of people that can help with the business. We ended up hosting a movie. We did the movie Frozen 2 when it came out. The whole team and I dressed up as all the characters, and everybody that came in, I made a contest with my team, and they walked around and asked people for names, and we set a goal with a reward bonus if everybody could get referrals. And so we went out there and asked every single person, and I will tell you what, we had so much fun at that event, and we left there with 36 warm leads that turned into, and this is no joke, 14 closings. 36 warm leads that turned into 14 closings within a few months of that event. Those loans all closed. Now, the events were still wonderful either way, but eventful growth is having more of a process while mixing both honoring and gratitude and time together with money, right? Time, joy, money, giving them joy, hopefully a good time, good use of their time. And then you are also receiving hopefully future business that you can help with. And so make sure that when you are doing an event in general, you're following a checklist. I can share mine if you need it. You can always hit me up via email. In addition to that you are asking for referrals and giving extreme gratitude for everybody being there, that your events are something that people can count on. There's consistency and energy around them, and that you personally are involved and engaged in people coming because it's an event that ultimately helps connect them to you, your team, your business. And so being the one who actually is willing to reach out, even if it's that slide dial voicemail, will make a huge difference in their attendance, and then showing gratitude after they've been there, thanking them for coming and letting them know when the next time that you will get to see each other at an event of yours. If this podcast was helpful, please share it. We'll see you soon.